Well, it was his nest egg for retirement after decades of hard work. But when Stephen discovered his superannuation had been eaten away, he was shocked. Now his family has this warning.
He's not a well man, so it's just not fair.
They were taking $24,000 a year.
These are the tears of a loving wife, devastated for her husband, who has worked hard all his life.
I just thought when you put super away, they just take their fee out and, when you retire, you get all this money.
The fees taken out of Stephen Lockwood's superannuation is what he and wife Denise claim has robbed them of a happy and comfortable retirement.
$40,000 left out of all those years.
Stephen has spent his entire life working, most recently as a garbage truck driver in Adelaide. But it's taken a strain on the 65-year-old, forcing him to retire in May this year.
I had open heart surgery, and then I had a plate put in my neck. I've had 2 hip replacements. I just had a pacemaker put in.
It was then Denise decided to check Stephen's superannuation account, expecting to see around $200,000, only to discover the total amount was less than a quarter of that.
Couldn't understand it. And I showed Stephen, and he'd just come out of hospital.
I was just shocked. Yeah, and then I got sick over it.
The couple calling upon daughter Cassandra for help.
We don't sit there and check our super all the time.
In 2010, Stephen received advice from MBA financial strategists to consolidate his 3 existing superannuation funds into one. And based on the level of life insurance cover he required, the decision was made to roll his funds into AXA's Summit Personal Super Plan, which in the following year merged with AMP, noting Stephen would have greater control of his superannuation assets and the overall costs associated with the ongoing management of benefits would be reduced.
You trust a big company like them to look after your future.
5 years later, and Stephen's super climbed to its highest level at just under $80,000. But after that, it spiralled downward, despite the fact Stephen was contributing $800 a month.
He thought he had, a nice little nest egg.
Financial records show Stephen was being charged multiple fees every month, including the cost for a financial advisor. But the biggest fee of all was his life insurance and total permanent disability cover, which almost quadrupled from $509 per month in 2013 to $1,960 this year, based on his age and the fact he's a smoker.
We really need to switch on because we are spending as a nation more on super fees each year than we spend on power bills.
Finance expert Joel Gibson from One Big Switch.
It's out of sight, out of mind, and we often don't engage with it in our 30s and 40s. We start to engage with it later on in our 50s and 60s, but sometimes it's too late and we've done ourselves out of tens of thousands of dollars.
Stephen admits he wasn't regularly checking his superannuation account, but given he was paying a fee for an advisor from MBA financial strategists, the family assumed there was no need and it was in reliable hands.
I just feel gutted with it all.
But MBA financial strategist claims its advisor repeatedly tried to reach out to Stephen and even held a meeting, telling A Current Affair,
"At his most recent review in 2017, we alerted Mr. Lockwood that his life insurer was increasing his premiums and it would be prudent to review his level of cover. We made multiple attempts to contact Mr. Lockwood over a number of years to assist with his annual review. However, due to lack of contact, we ceased charging his annual fee for advice in 2020.
When you see your parents working hard all their life, you want them to be happy and settled. And now I feel like it's my responsibility to, help them through this time of their life.
Cassandra has now referred her father's super fund to the Australian Financial Complaints Authority, with AMP confirming,
"We are fully cooperating with the Australian Financial Complaints Authority in their review so we can determine the best way to resolve for the customer. In this instance, due to not having a valid email address on file, the customer was not receiving their regular superannuation balance statements from AMP since 2017. which would have indicated their increasing life insurance premiums.
Check your super. Make sure you're in contact with them. Make sure they got your updated details.
It's still on you to make sure that you're checking the advice you're being given, seeing if the projections that were given to you are anywhere near the reality, and frankly, if it's not up to scratch, switching and moving.
AMP says it's continuing to work with Stephen to resolve his matter.